Welcome to Jikoni Magic. Today we're going to learn how to make a delicious bean stew recipe that can be eaten on its own or accompanied by ugali, chapati or rice. These are our ingredients. And I was in the village last week, went to the farm. Beans were being harvested, and because I love beans, I came back with them. I wasn't particularly very choosy. I came back with a mixture of 3 beans, as you can see here. And something you should know about the beans that are gotten from the farm and the store-bought beans is that the beans that are from the store are very clean, sorted, and they are polished, whereas the ones that you get from the farm are full of stones, soil, sometimes insects, grass. So it's up to you to make sure that you sort them, select everything that is unwanted and discard. I like doing it against a white background. My plate is the surface of choice because it's white, and I believe that everything is more visible against a white background. And make sure you do this step very carefully, because if you leave a stone behind, you're going to crack someone's tooth. So keep doing the same thing over and over until you finish with your beans. As you select, you put in a container and set aside until you're done. And here are my selected beans, and you can see how much I got out of the 2 cups of beans. So much soil, beans with holes, stones, etc. And now washing, I put enough water to cover the beans and gently rub them together. This one has the effect of making sure that all the soil that might remain stuck or the small stones sink to the bottom. And then once I'm done, I just don't pour out the water. I scoop out the beans, make sure the water runs down through the beans, taking down with it any soil or whatever other debris that is there to the bottom. And as you're washing, you'll also notice that there are beans that float. Now these are the spoiled beans, the ones that were eaten by insects. They normally have holes, and that's why they are floating. So I discard this. I don't cook them. I normally sieve them because I don't want them to block my drainage. Sieve, then throw them away. And this is the soil that I was telling you about. It sank to the bottom. I can even swirl it for you. You can see it right there. Right now to the cooking bit. I normally cook my beans in a pressure cooker. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you can always soak them overnight and cook them the following day for about 30 minutes. Whatever works for you, just go ahead with it. And so now to the preparation of the vegetables. My tomatoes and my green bell pepper, 2 small onions. These ingredients are enough to make food that is enough to serve 2 people. I will boil the 2 cups of beans, but I won't cook the entire amount. I'll only cook what I need for maybe 1 or 2 servings. The rest I will freeze and use later for other dishes. That is my cilantro, the potatoes. And in my preheated pan, I added my vegetable oil, the sunflower oil, swirled it around so that it could coat the bottom completely. Added my diced onions, the curry powder, and proceeded to mix it properly and spread it out. This was followed by the garlic and ginger. After my onions turned a bit brown, then after about a minute or so, I added my tomatoes and 2 beef cubes. These are the 2 beef cubes. After which I stirred and made sure that everything was mixed together properly. This is my freshly cracked black pepper. Well, after this, I left the tomatoes to cook for about 5 minutes and then added my potatoes to the mixture. Stirred the potatoes properly so that everything could mix up well. Then my Worcestershire sauce. It's optional, you don't have to add it. I just like the flavor that it brings. Then just enough water to cover the top of the potatoes. Let them come to a boil, reduce the heat, and let them simmer for about 10 minutes. And then add your carrots and the green bell pepper. As you can see, the stew has really reduced and it's become a very thick, almost gravy-like consistency. To this, I added my gravy mix that had been mixed with cold water. Stirred it, and remember the beef cubes have salt. The gravy mix has salt, so be very careful. Let it simmer. While it's simmering, I checked on my beans and they had cooked. I scooped out just enough for this meal, dinner, and a bit for lunch the following day. Not everything, the rest I refrigerated like I told you. So I mashed the beans that I had scooped out. Not everything, just so that it could thicken the soup more, the stew. Then added it to the stew that I had been cooking and made sure that everything was mixed properly. Break down the beans that are clamped together. You can now see that it's a very, very thick bean stew. And like I said, you can have it on its own, or you can now have it with your rice, chapati, whatever you have. At this point, taste for salt. If it's not enough, add it to round up all the flavors. And then finally, add your coriander or cilantro and let it simmer for about just 10 seconds or so, and then put off your fire and serve. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Hope to see you again when we cook something else. That's always delightful on Jikoni Magic. Don't forget to subscribe, rate. Any questions or comments, post them down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Goodbye.